I feel like we all know that healing is something that starts in silence. It doesn't start on social media. It doesn't start by you explaining yourself to certain people. It starts when you finally do come to the realization that you have deep work that needs to be done and do everything in your power to make that happen. And the truth is, nobody claps for healing that they didn't see. You can do all the deep work, become the best version of yourself, and do everything in your power to be a representation of the man or woman that you want to be seen as. And if certain people didn't witness this firsthand, then it will not matter. And I feel like that's the craziest thing about life, is because subconsciously we may do things unintentionally to try to prove ourselves to the next person. We want people to witness our growth. We want people to at least experience this new version of us that may exist, especially after years of trauma and pain that may have occurred. But the sad truth is that may not even be possible for you. Just because a specific person may not have seen the pain does not mean that that progress isn't real. And you have to start giving yourself credit for the work that you're doing, even without that recognition. Some victories are invisible, but that doesn't mean that they don't count. Just because you don't have a crowd or a group of people right there clapping for you does not mean that you don't deserve recognition for all the hard work that you put in. And one thing about life that I learned is that usually the strongest people tend to suffer quietly and then they rise. It doesn't happen during the time of you being rebuilt, where you may be vulnerable, where you may be hurt. It happens after the fact. But the healed version of you doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to prove how far you've came, because you being the individual that you are is a representation of all the work that you put in, and that's just enough. My life changed dramatically when I stopped trying to prove everything to somebody. Understanding that people pleasing will always leave you feeling like you're missing something. Your transformation does not require an audience. And that's the thing about life, because I feel like so many people get tied into wanting to be applauded for the hard work they're doing, or for the progress that they're making, or they are at least wanting people to witness them becoming a greater version of themselves. And yes, that's great, but this just does not always happen. And what it leads to is people getting discouraged. It leads to people stop doing the work, stop doing the healing, because they feel like there's not going to be no reward at the end. But it may not be the reward that you want at this very moment, but you are going to benefit in the long run from doing the deep work, from healing, from actually processing everything that you need to process and working on yourself. It may not be validation, but I guarantee it'll be mental clarity and growth. Not everyone is going to understand what it took to become who you are now. And that's okay. You don't have to prove yourself to nobody. Each and every last one of us are human beings, and we're all put on this earth the same way. I am not better than you. You are not better than me. Therefore, we should just live our lives according to however we want to live it. I don't even believe there's no right and wrong in a sense. Yes, I feel like we all have morals and we all have things that we abide by, but morality is subjective. It all depends on the way that you were raised. Some days the greatest victory that you can have is simply not breaking down again, not putting yourself in a position to be as vulnerable, to feel as weak, because you know now that you have the power to overcome the challenges that you didn't have the power to overcome previously. You know all the work that you may have put in is what led up to you being in the current position that you're in now. So why backtrack or go against this? And one thing that I love about life is the fact that the scars that you carry, they are not weaknesses, they're testimonies. They're a representation of the battles that you went through, the battles that you've overcame, the challenges that you may have faced and didn't let get the best of you. That's why I feel like it's very important that we just embrace who we are, especially during this healing journey. It is not going to be an easy road, but we don't ask for easy. We should just ask God for guidance, and He'll be there to provide that for us. So the biggest takeaway here is I just want you to make sure that you keep healing, even if you're not receiving the recognition that you feel like you deserve. Even if it feels like nobody's clapping for you, or even if it may feel like it's for nothing at that very moment. You know, I have my moments in my life where I may be going through breakups, or I may be dealing with trauma, loss, and grief. And this is all something that I just have to take in, understanding that I'm not alone. Yes, I'm healing and I'm working towards becoming a better version of myself, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's somebody behind this screen that's going through something similar, or even going through something worse. So I can't complain. All I can do is turn my pain into purpose and use it as motivation to become a better version of myself. Truly understanding that the reward isn't applause. It's about you becoming the best version of yourself possible. It's about you becoming the man or woman that you knew was on the other side of that hardship, or the other side of that challenge that you may be faced with. Because of course, when we're going through it, it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be hard. It's going to feel like this is something that we probably can't even overcome. That's how anybody would feel. But the fact that you are even able to think and have those thoughts just means that you have the will, you have the ability to overcome it. It is possible. Anything that you set your mind to, any challenge, any difficulty that life, may place on you, you got to understand that you're faced with that right now. But by the end of that hardship, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be wiser, and you're going to be in a better place mentally, because if it's not going to break you, it has no other choice or option but to build you up. And that's what life is about, being built up, not allowing things to tear you down. Understanding that as long as you're still waking up, as long as you're still breathing, as long as you're still able to walk, you still serve a purpose. God is not finished with you, but you may not have people clapping for you. But that only happens in the beginning when they don't understand or they may not see the potential. And all that is based on old patterns, things that you may have went through or witnessed with somebody. You can't blame somebody for not having faith in something that they've seen or witnessed constantly. And all of a sudden there's just a shift. Do the work, do what you need to do to become a better version of yourself, a more healed version of yourself, and let everything speak for itself. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.